In narcissistic abuse, there is something they call breadcrumbing. So breadcrumbing is when they give you something a little bit less, just to keep you going, just to keep you wanting more and coming back for more. That's what they call breadcrumbing. So they don't give you the whole loaf because they know you're going to be full, you're not going to come back. So you get the whole loaf of bread and you move. So they have to give you a little bit of breadcrumbs. So you are hungry for more, you keep on coming. That's what happens in all settings of society, whether it's a job, whether it is your parent you're dealing with. There's always been those points where you've been breadcrumbed all around the place. Now, why am I even doing this video? I want to let you understand why everything for you will fall apart the very moment you awaken and call back your energy. If you are an empath, highly sensitive people, chosen ones, you have a real soul. There is people that is around you, you run into every day on a regular basis, they have no soul. They don't have a soul. They don't know who they are. And whatever it is those people have signed up for that made them lose their soul, he wasn't there. So it has nothing to do with you. These people who don't have a soul, they have got an attachment, I've always said in my videos, with demonic entities, evil entities. What now happens is they become like vessels. They become like vessels to harvest energy from real souls, because the real souls have got real energy, high vibrational energy. Are you guys following? Now, this cycle can go on for, it has been happening for centuries. Actually, it's just recently that we guys are starting to find out all this narcissistic abuse and energy vampirism. It is not something that we have been learning in schools. It has been happening for decades. There is entities that have gotten too accustomed to harvest energy from real souls. It's why sometimes you can find people who sell their souls for money, for fame, for power, for different reasons. They sell their soul. So they sell their soul away to these entities. Now, what really happens is that at a certain given time along your journey, although I understand there is people that haven't been able to wake up, we have a lot of relatives who have passed away in the line of duty, they were never able to understand what was happening to them. But the ones of you who are starting to wake up now and realizing that this whole thing is spiritual warfare, it has always been happening and it's very deep. The thing that comes to your consciousness, first of all, is that you need to call back your power. Mind you, and I'm going to do a whole video on this, when I'm talking about calling back your power, it's not just you, I call back my power, I call back my destiny. You know, there are some procedures you need to understand and you need to follow. Because for you to be able to call back your power, you have got to put yourself, first of all, in a very high vibrational state, because your power is high vibrational. But you see, the thing is, it is somewhere else working for certain entities, for certain people, keeping them in power, keeping them in positions, keeping them wealthy, keeping them rich, keeping them young, some of them, you know, those kind of things. When you start calling back your power, you need to understand something. What normally happens is there is going to be something what I can term as energy deficiency. So by this, what I basically mean, energy deficiency is where these entities no longer have access to your energy. When they do not have access to your energy, they are falling apart, okay? Is why sometimes I've done a video a couple of years, I think that was 3-4 years ago. I told you if the narcissist does not have any energy whatsoever, they are going to actually decompose. The narcissist, their health, you may look at them and you will see somebody in just a couple of months, they are looking like 100-year-old, because those entities have no energy to feed. So they are going to feed off of the host. Is what makes the narcissist decompose, break apart, fall apart, and all the things that follow. I've done a whole video on that. When you start calling back your power now, we need to understand this thing from a spiritual and energetic perspective. What is now happening in spirit? There is no energy supply to these entities. You have cut it off. You've unplugged all the cords. You've even sometimes done some cord cuttings. They no longer have access to your energy. What now happens is, why have I talked about the breadcrumbing in the first place? Usually, you could just get a little bit of breadcrumbs to keep you moving, okay? Keep on harvesting more energy to keep you moving so that they could keep on feeding off of your energy. Most of the times, all the things you have wanted to do, projects, big things, because you see, when you are vibrating high and you have everything in order, you don't need some people. You don't need some people. You don't need a job. You don't need these things. You don't need everybody who's bringing you chaos. You can just cut them off. And then eventually, there is no energy to feed. What now happens is that these entities, because you have cut off access to your energy, they no longer can harvest your energy. Now, what really happens is that all these little things you used to get, they're going to start to disappear. That is when you know that for a very long period of time, you have actually been fed by a demon. So those little privileges you had, let's say, for example, you had been promoted in a certain place, or let's say, for example, you just moved into a new house, you start losing your home, you bought a new car, the car starts breaking down, you're going to start seeing things crumbling. You know, when you go through a spiritual awakening, this is something very powerful video. I want you to share this video, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of your life is going to start to fall apart. That is because these entities have been in charge of your energy, so they could never allow you to thrive and to prosper and to be successful, because then you do not need them. Are we together, my chosen ones? When you start calling back your energy, you're starting to step back into your true, authentic nature. You are getting that energy back for yourself to work for you. Now, what normally happens is that whatever the devil has given you, they're going to take it back. Let me give you something to look at. I was born and raised in a narcissistic family dynamic. That is exactly my father, what he used to do. He would just give you a little bit of here and there just to keep you going, as long as he still had access to your energy. Because again, I've told you, we are dealing with energy vampires. They do not have a soul. When I woke up and I figured out what exactly had been happening, what my father had been doing all this entire time, and what the problem was, I started calling back my power. The very first thing what my father did, he took away all these little things that he had given me, the breadcrumbs that I was telling you about. He now took away all those breadcrumbs, because it was like some form of punishment. Okay, you do not give me access to your energy, I'm going to take away this home. You do not give me access to your energy, I'm going to take away this inheritance. I have told a lot of you black sheep in the families, even in some case scenarios, you are going to lose inheritance, because those things are tied to an energy vampire. They are not what you rightfully have to, must have. It is not what rightfully belongs to you. It is something that is just a little bit of enough to keep you going. The only thing they need is access to your energy. Are you guys following? Because the person you're dealing with, they don't have a soul. You are going to start losing everything. A lot of you guys have left this narcissist behind. And the very first thing what they told you, oh, let us get back give me back the phone. I bought you a phone. Let me take back that phone. Give me back that car because you're leaving me. Let me take back this. Let me take back that. That is because you are realizing that you are the gold mine, okay? When it comes to energy, you are the gold mine. They have been mining your energy. You are calling back that energy. What is now happening is that these entities that attach to these people, they are going to get very angry and furious, because you no longer want to go for the breadcrumbs. You want to sit at the table. You want to be inside the gold mine. You want to be in charge. That is why now you experience cases whereby they are going to start punishing you, because you have disconnected from these people. You have called back your power. In some case scenarios, you guys are going to start losing jobs. You may find yourself, is why you hear many people talking about spiritual awakening, and they say you're going to find yourself losing jobs, you're going to find yourself breaking away from relationships, because you're starting to understand your value. You're understanding your worth. you understanding that you are the source. The people that have been around you have been vampires in disguise. Now, what is really happening is that you start to get everything breaking apart and everything taken away from you. There's a video I did before and I told you of a process they call the reboot. The reboot is where you allow, actually sometimes I might have done a video that I call the tower moment. Basically, you go through a lot of tower moments whereby everything starts to fall apart. In some case scenarios, you may run into bankruptcy, you may sometimes run into debt, you may run into a lot of problems because you did not know actually that behind the scenes you was being breadcrumbed, just for you to sustain yourself, to be alive, to keep on moving, to keep on going there and hunting for more energy so that you can feed these entities, because these entities do not have a connection to source. Share this video, my chosen ones. When you realize that your life is falling apart, I want you to pay attention. It is just going to be for a matter of time before everything is going to fall back in place, because the energy that you're calling back your true authentic signature to come back to you, to start working for you. When you do the healing work and you continue calling back your power and your energy, what normally happens is that you are going to lose everything that belongs to Caesars. And you're going to start harvesting everything that is directly from the Most High. And this is very abundant. It's why you see on this spiritual world that we're living in, I've told you life is spiritual. A lot of people do not understand how spiritual warfare operates. They do not understand they are actually involved directly in spiritual warfare. Many people have been having blinders on their eyes, so actually they do not understand the real spiritual warfare they are fighting. They just see on this 3D moving up and down, going from here to there, but they don't realize there is a lot happening behind the scenes, and little do they realize they are battling with certain entities. Now, I want you to pay attention. There is going to come a time where everything is going to fall back in its own place. Because you see, when you have been building something with a false foundation, the whole entire building has got to collapse so that you can rebuild this time with your general authentic signature. The empire that belongs to you, the real energy that belongs to you. Because you see, the enemy has been harvesting your energy, I've told you, for power, for fame, for money, for different kinds of reasons. A lot of times you see a person, 60, 70-year-old, they're looking like a 40-year-old. That is because they are harvesting energy somewhere. But when the person cuts off that energy, those people are going to fall apart. Their bodies now are going to manifest into their real, genuine age that they are in currently at that moment, because they are living on borrowed energy. A 60-year-old sometimes can look like a 30-year-old. That is because you might find a father who has been harvesting energy from their own children. All children, depending on the family and the dynamics that are happening inside that unit. Now, like I've said, everything will fall apart. That is because you have stopped to give your power away. You want to go and be the one at the table, the one that is supposed to serve. You shouldn't be served. You are going to be the one to serve, okay? You're going to be the one who is going to choose who needs to be in your place, in your presence, who needs to be in your energy. Who do you want to share your time with, your energy with, your body with, and different types of resources that you have, because you are very abundant, and the enemy knows that. So for the chosen ones out there, this video is for you. Be very, very aware and attentive that it has always been about energy. It was nothing to do with you. It was never been personal. You have just been dealing with evil entities that was very interested in your energy, because you do have a soul. Many people that you see around moving up and down, they are zombies. They are walking dead. They do not have a soul. Guys, you need to open your eyes. You need to start waking up. You see them moving up and down and talking to you and moving. They are zombies. They are bots. They do not have a soul. They are NPCs. You can understand this, ladies and gentlemen. And the only way these entities thrive is by attaching themselves to high vibrational souls so that they can feed. You guys have heard about even sometimes people who have gone ahead to sacrifice other people for their own benefit. I have heard those stories many times where people have gone into sacrificial rituals for their own benefit so that they can develop their empires, build wealth, accumulate wealth, stay young and be attractive and all those kind of things. It is somebody else's energy that is working for them. This is what you guys need to understand, is why you see a lot of times we are usually attacked, because we are waking up. We are starting to tell you guys what is really going on. So these entities are afraid Because when you guys know and understand what is going on, you will also cut your energy off from these energy vampires, and you're going to start you are going to be the ones that are going to own the bakery. You're not going to go for the breadcrumbs. You're going to own the whole bakery. That is what they're afraid about, okay? So it's always been about energy from the beginning. So I hope this video resonates and it gives you more empowerment to start understanding what is going on in your life. Take back your power. Remember, it is real, it is spiritual, it is not personal, but when you understand, you can know how to play the game and how to reverse these kind of things, okay? Give us a like, share the video, subscribe. You know, I'd love and appreciate your support. Please book a session. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I'll find you guys and I'll see you guys in my next one. There's almost signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.